What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for joining us.
Yes,
Our
Tuesday.
Instagram followers are coming through. Thank you all for joining us.
Good to see everyone again.
Yep, my YouTube followers. Thank you.
Yeah,
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
and pull it up.
What's up?
Doing a quick sound check. Running a little late. Sorry, y'all. We're gonna get right on into it. Another great topic, though, per usual, right?
Yep, most definitely. The topic for tonight is toxic intimacy and the 7 red flags. What does this mean? This is something that is very important, though, so that you can recognize what this is and how not to get involved in it, and how not to be a part of it, and now not to abuse people with intimacy.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about intimacy before. This question takes us kind of in a different direction when it comes to intimacy. So that's nice. But I don't know if y'all recall our intimacy discussion on like the 7 different stages that a relationship goes through. And we go through how it's not all just physical intimacy. Intimacy is also that deep emotional connection that you share, the spiritual connection, and a lot of different things that are going to go deeper than the physical. But physical intimacy is so huge, right?
Mhm.
And it can really, in a way, either help a relationship or hurt it.
Yeah, I mean, it can only hurt it, I think, if it's negative.
Right. If
It's
used in a bad way.
right, like what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah. So let's go ahead.
Yep.
I'm going to pull up this question real quick. On YouTube, Instagram viewers, you're always welcome to see the question live up on YouTube if you want. If not, we're going to follow, right along and keep y'all up to date as we go through this. It's a pretty quick question, which is nice. Always. All of our questions we get are nice. So wifeconomics.com/submit a question if you are interested in submitting your own question and you want to remain anonymous, but it's something that is really wanting to get off your chest. So this subject was relationship, and the message body said, I got a girl I like, and the intimacy is really good, but sometimes I think she is doing it to manipulate me. She accuses me of cheating whenever I say no. Could this still work? As I said, it's so simple, and I like I like all of our questions. It's also, we always say it's much better if you can give us a little more detail because we'll know what we're working with. But I think this may be a younger male viewer trying to figure out those red flags of what that could actually look like if a woman, and this could apply for a woman as well, if a man is trying to do certain tactics to manipulate through sex. What you thinking?
About the answer, my answer here is no, and the reason being is this: because she's not allowing trust to grow. If she's always accusing you of cheating, now she has to base that off of some hard facts. And if you're not getting hard facts during the conversation, then more than likely she's just trying to have her way with you and make you do stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing out of toxic situations or toxic intimacy.
And the fact that it's good, right? So just
The convenience.
Yeah.
You should never do anything out of toxic convenience, meaning those young relationships, those guys who want to keep their pool of women because he's able to manipulate and control them.
Right.
That's toxic. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Women using sex to get over on men and getting what you want. That's toxic.
And vice versa.
I dare someone to challenge me. To be honest with you. Now, if that person wants to be used, then that's on them. But anyway, you look at it, it's toxic.
Yeah.
So that isn't what I would condone, to be honest with you. Because ultimately, what happens is that you're abusing somebody, and it can often at times blow up in the end and get very could be very violent if that person who's being abused no longer gets any benefit of the situation.
Yeah.
So that's something that you all need to look out for and be careful about. Ladies, especially ladies, when they use their sensuality to get over on men, and realistically they don't really want them, they just want money,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then also those young guys too, be aware of that when women are taking advantage of you by giving you sex and wanting something in return,
Yeah.
especially if they're not trying to move the relationship forward. Ultimately the feelings will get involved, and then someone is going to get hurt, and you have to be very careful about that, because that will blow up. That's a situation that won't end well.
Yeah. There are, and what comes to mind to me in particular is there are a few reasons as to why the physical intimacy can be really good in a toxic relationship. It's important to bring awareness to, for a man or a woman, to what this could look like and what are the reasons why, because then once you understand the why, then you can really dig into seeing what's going on from a bird's eye view, in a way, kind of that alternate perspective. But in general, toxic relationships often involve a lot of power imbalances. So one person is trying to get over on another, like you were talking about, and usually that's what's going on. So they're trying to manipulate in some type of way the other person, maybe to having sex when they don't want to. This may take place with the more, I can't even say more commonly, because it happens to both men and women now. This isn't so much a gender thing, like it just, it's people out here that do these type of things. So in particular though, if this happens, and it can create that situation where the physical intimacy is really good if the person is giving them what they want. But like you said, if it doesn't happen, then that power imbalance person will try to dominate that power in another way, which could turn into abuse.
Right.
And it's just, one form of expression into another, unfortunately.
Right.
And
I mean, this isn't something new, of course.
yeah.
But a lot of people have not been told this type of information before. So especially by your parents, or by any other married couple in your family, they probably haven't told you about toxic intimacy. And I'm just glad that we're able to share this with our viewers. And then if you know any young viewers out there, young adults who are out there, share this video with them, because I'm pretty sure they've probably experienced stuff like this before, and they need to know that this is a red flag when someone does this to them, or if they're in these type of relationships, and they need to develop an exit strategy on how they're going to get out of this. So
yeah. Especially if they're not married, or it's just, the beginning,
right.
And these are important red flags for even, I think, older adults who may be in long-term relationships and you not quite realize, what's going on. And you really never know when a person just isn't aware of something, especially if you never been loved in a certain type of way, that just, in particular, toxic relationships often involve that, deep emotional intimacy. So these people may get very close to each other, may share a lot of intimate details with each other, and all of that creates like a closeness where then when you go to have physical intimacy, it's even more intense. But the context of then how the relationship plays on further doesn't, I think you kind of mentioned it before, it's no progression in it. It's
Right.
kind of like just utilized in that moment to get something out of you, like get you vulnerable, get you, all soft and stuff, have sex with you, and then be gone type thing.
Mhm.
Or, and then come back, or not even, we'll kind of get into some of the specifics later, but just not even try to spend that time even deepening the connection anymore after the physical intimacy has taken place. So the emotional intimacy is really just based off of manipulation or control at that point. And it's not really, real emotional intimacy that should be connected with physical intimacy. Yeah. And the last one I think that came to mind is like the secrecy of it. So you're talking about in this particular toxic type relationship, one person may be lying about the relationship to another, to the other people around that particular spouse. So they're lying about how the relationship really is. They're just saying one thing with you and, telling other people, oh, it's nothing, or whatever the case may be. That secrecy, that layer of just trying to keep y'all relationship, between you two, can often too be another form of manipulation or control over that relationship, because they don't want anybody else to give their input into, hey, like, especially if there's other unhealthy dynamics, like, unhealthy communication or anything like that. But just in general, that sense of not allowing that person to talk or communicate with anybody else is certainly control and manipulation, and kind of trying to hide you from the truth of what somebody else could possibly see.
Yeah, they're hiding abuse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. And and a lot of people don't see abuse unless it shows up on you. If you get what I'm saying. So just be mindful of that these type of situations are also not good to be in.
Yeah.
And if you are in a situation like this, please tell someone. Go out there and get help, seek help, and hope that you find someone who can provide you proper guidance.
Yes. Yeah, because you do deserve to be in a relationship where you feel safe, respected, and loved. At the end of the day, young man writing in, there's no way that you can genuinely feel safe in your relationship if you're saying, I feel like I think she's like manipulating me to, just have sex and do stuff, or whatever the case, whatever she's using to manipulate you. That's certainly a gut feeling that you are picking up on, that you have to pay attention to, because sometimes just because the sex is good, it can blind you and you not even know, like, hey, I'm being taken advantage of here, until all your money gone, you broke and out in Cancun somewhere. Like, it's just, who knows? Things could happen bad.
Why you gotta be in Cancun?
Those things happen. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, those wild, outrageous situations.
Right, no,
you know what I'm saying?
You.
Like, it just,
I feel
you never know how somebody could take something so far, manipulate you, and leave you stranded. Like, you just don't know. And you really have to be mindful of this. So.
Right. And I'm pretty sure there were red flags along the way.
Yes.
That's why that were ignored. So.
Yes. So let's just, I guess, kind of get into those a little bit in particular.
So he or she may use sex to get what she wants, of course. So that's what we're talking about. This could mean anything from getting you to do favors for them, to getting you to stay in a relationship with them. Yeah. This can also show up as controlling behavior and possibly continue on until your spouse trying to control your thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Yeah, that's the extreme
manipulation.
Yeah, as it's gone down the totem pole. So you're just looking at, how it can first show up, something as, oh, like, I give you something good if you wash my car, or, oh, I'll do this if, like the exchange from a favor,
right.
But that could be manipulation, even if you don't mind it,
Right, but we're more so reaching out to those people who find themselves in that situation and they're losing money, they're losing time, and that person that they're living with, or their boyfriend or their girlfriend, they're not getting a mutual benefit in the relationship. It's not love is not reciprocated.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you're hoping and wanting love in this relationship, and you're not getting none of it at all. And then you're giving up sex, and then this person is taking all your resources, your money, your time, and all you want is them to commit to you, or what have you. Or for some guys, they want the woman to submit to them, and that ain't going to happen. Understand that, you can only inspire change in somebody, but you can't make them change. And if you're trying to inspire change and they're not receptive to it, then, like I said, form your exit strategy, because that's going to ultimately save you time and money in these toxic situations. So, let's move on. So the second tip we have is he or she may be manipulative in other areas of your life. So if they're manipulative in with their friends, at work or other relationships, it's likely that they're also manipulative in their sexual relationship. So think about their other relationships. Think about their character. They try to be sly and cunning and always witty and trying to swindle people and scam people. Then more than likely, what makes you think that they're not scamming you or swindling you out of your time, your money, your attention,
Yeah.
or what have you, especially if you're not getting love in return, actual love, a mutual relationship, a reciprocated relationship.
Yeah, like those. It makes me think of those relationships where people don't mind being involved with somebody who's a criminal, but think that they'll be upright and righteous in all their other behaviors, but your 9 to 5 is a criminal behavior or type thing, or the things that you do is criminal. So like that, your morals and your principles, how are you going to also do that within your personal relationship if you can't do that in your professional relationship? That's often too why men and women are often looked at more favorable if they're married within the workplace, because it's like that layer of when you're in a
That's an assumption.
relationship. Yeah, the assumption, exactly, that when you're in a relationship you're supposed to be upright and doing the right thing and loyal, and focused in a way, disciplined. It shows all those behaviors. But
Right.
if you're not, then chances are that you're cheating in other areas. They'll say, oh, if you're cheating in your personal life, you may be cheating in your career or whatever, because all this it does bounce off and end up doing those same behaviors in other areas because it worked in one area. So like the mind will naturally want to see if it could work in another.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. So yeah. In particular with this young man, a big red flag would be if she like threatens to leave you if you don't have sex with them. And of course, this can go to women as well. Huge red flag if a guy is saying, oh, I'm going to leave you if you don't have sex with me. That is for sure a way of controlling you and making you feel like, you have to do what they want you to do in order for, the relationship to be genuine or go anywhere. But, that's not real love and real intimacy and that real building that bond with that person. It shouldn't be forced or something that's, manipulated. It really should be natural. So if you don't feel like it's natural, if you feel like it's being manipulated, if deep inside it, you notice that she's not wanting to spend any time with you, or he not wanting to spend any time with you outside of sex, then yeah, that's a huge red flag, because that means that they're only interested in you for one thing, and you can't just let that pass on by and get away with it, because the more you let them keep doing this with you without building that deeper relationship, the less likely they're going to build that deep relationship with you.
Right. And then also too, you can exchange sex with money. If they're saying that they don't want to sleep with you unless you give them money, and that is supposed to be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, then you really need to consider what you're doing and who you're dating.
Yeah.
Because that's toxic as well.
Yeah.
And that's a big red flag.
Yeah. To me, masking prostitution in a way, because it's like trying to hide it in a relationship, but it's the same thing.
Or gifts too.
What do you mean by gifts? What you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, they'll buy you something. Oh, what's it called when you like shower someone with all this love and attention and affection, love bombing them in a way,
right.
Gifts and stuff,
yeah.
and then you want is
and then you get nothing in return.
Yeah.
You don't even you get a thank you, and that's probably it. But that you're being in a relationship that's toxic, because it's like my wife explained all of the imbalance. So this, like I said before, it's not being reciprocated.
Yeah.
So they're not at times, showing you love by, giving you that time and that attention that you deserve, or looking out for you.
Yeah. And certainly if they make you feel bad about it, that's the easy one, but that's of course a red flag that you can't let get away. So even in relationships, if you're in a relationship and you maybe it's just one of those nights where you don't want to have anything, don't let them make you feel guilty by saying, oh, you must be cheating on me or something like that. That is toxic. That's not, for one, that's oozing low self-esteem on the spouse, but on the other, it's no trust in that, and that's certainly manipulation, because you're trying to say, oh, again, what you hiding, what you doing, why you don't want to have sex with me, you better have sex with me. Like, it's not it's not love, and that's not real deep. There's no way you're going to build a real deep intimate connection with the person doing something like that.
Yeah. And also too, unhealthy communication, it is obvious obvious red flag in your relationship. So
Yeah.
if you're not able to communicate properly, and express your feelings in a healthy way, So that's unhealthy communication. They may be passive aggressive,
Yeah.
or they may explode in anger. Your
Right.
spouse may put you down, criticize you, or make you feel like you're not good enough. So they may also use silent treatment or gaslighting you to manipulate you.
Yeah. That's the extreme, you know. Unfortunately, that's emotional abuse. Like that goes further past unhealthy communication and into emotional abuse at that point. Because gaslighting, yeah, is certainly emotional abuse. So, but that passive aggressive can't be overlooked too, because you know those can come at the form of what I guess people will pass as what sly criticism or critiques, or you know, like just telling it how it is or whatever. That can be passive aggressive, and you know, that is in a way can be condescending and putting your spouse down. And certainly if you're talking about like the whole bringing in sex into the equation of it all, you don't want to make your spouse feel like, all right, you can't even talk about sex or even this conversation in a healthy way, because in particular this guy's going to have this conversation with this girl if y'all really are in a relationship and y'all are getting to know each other and stuff. And if you didn't give us too much detail, but you honestly see a lot of these signs, you're going to have a conversation about how to, you know, let this relationship grow, fix it, get it better, or let it go if, you know, she's not able to talk about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then lack of trust. So you may feel like you can't trust your spouse. So they may lie to you, or they may break promises. So they may be jealous and possessive. Your spouse may be overly jealous or possessive of you. So they may accuse you of cheating or flirting, or they may try to control who you see and talk to.
Yeah. That's a big one. I'm sorry, the screen dimmed, and we definitely got to get the controller. Grab that. You want to get it?
Yeah. I got
okay. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. Our computer battery. That's what we over here looking like. Hold on. What's up with the screen? It's dimming on us. But yeah, certainly the lack of trust that goes right into what this young guy was saying about the whole cheating aspect. We kind of hit on that again too before, but you certainly, you know, that's not real intimacy. A part of intimacy is building up that trust within each other, of sharing your secrets, your fears, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, and your shared experiences. So with all of that, if y'all can have more shared experiences that are going to build up trust, and less experiences that, you know, show jealousy, possessiveness, or like, you know, lying, breaking the promises. This can even be, you know, pointed out on dates. Like if the guy or girl doesn't show up on time, or they, you know, we always talk about how the guy cancels trying to meet up with you after you done got all dressed up and everything like that. All of that really just shows, you know, that they're untrustworthy, because in a way they don't value you and your time and how much you really want them to be there, and when they say they're going to be there and do the things that they say they're going to do. So also too, of course, the accusing you of cheating, or even like flirting. If you know, are out in public and you see that your spouse accuses you of flirting when you're not really flirting, that can really just be really toxic when it comes to intimacy, because you know, you're accusing somebody of something that they're probably not doing, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feeling drained. So after spending time with your spouse, you may feel drained or exhausted. You may also feel like you have to walk on eggshells around them. So what they call those people energy vampires. So if you're with somebody who may come off as an energy vampire, especially those people who don't like seeing you happy, and they turn that into some sort of competition with you. You may be in a toxic, intimate relationship with that person. How are you all going to grow if you all can't share your successes together, or just, you know, communicate or have a proper conversation with each other about each other's day? You know, so those are maybe some situations where you may you know, kind of wake up and despise who you're with in that situation because of all the toxic intimacy that's going on.
Yeah. Another form I guess I kind of think about is more of the energetic form too. If you're having intimacy with this spouse and afterwards you don't feel too good afterwards, it's not feeling like you want to connect with this person anymore or deepen that bond with them, or even if they just up and be like, oh, I gotta go, like, all of that can show to be toxic, especially if you yourself aren't feeling connected with your spouse after being intimate with them. So of course, intimacy, those are kind of our 7 red flags with the physical intimacy part. But again, when it comes to intimacy, it's different stages that your relationship really has to go through and expand and build upon. So you can't expect right off back for things to feel 100% deep and connected and like you're all in, especially if you're just meeting each other. So maybe I always like to play devil's advocate. Maybe this girl may not be doing it to manipulate you. Maybe, she just really does like you, but, you're not 100% there yet, right? So maybe the connection, just hasn't built up like you want it to. So maybe, that's the imbalance there. And hopefully that would be able to be talked about, worked through. And certainly when it comes to the whole accusing you of like cheating whenever you say no or all that other stuff, that's probably the only advice that I could have towards could this still work. It just really requires a lot of conversation, certainly making sure that when you have this conversation that it's healthy, that it looks like she's actually interested in hearing what you have to say. She's not just dismissing your feelings or gaslighting you into saying, oh, that didn't happen that way, no way, I didn't do it that way. Just really wanting to make sure that the conversation is open and honest and healthy. That's really going to show that this is something that can be worked on. But if y'all can't have that open and honest conversation, then nah, I can't, really
Right.
see this.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like you said, like what is he doing to give her vibes like that he's cheating?
Yeah.
You have to really put, you have to make some sort of effort to show her that you're not. But especially if they're young, how
Right.
often are you spending time together? How often are you're dating, and also how often are you using the phone around her? So that may give her the appearance that you're cheating. So yeah, those are things that he also needs to be mindful about
Yeah.
as well. So
Right. Because, when people write in, we only get one side. So we don't really know, like, all of it. So I do want to give just a little bit to maybe in case there is something more that he might not be telling us, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, just if there is an issue with, her possibly thinking you could be cheating, or like her just really wanting to have a lot of sex but not deepening the intimacy in other ways, you just have to be open and honest and talk about this, especially when it's something that's bothering you. You don't want to feel like, you have to walk on eggshells, like you were talking about. You don't want to feel like you can't be safe in your relationship, or feel like this person isn't going to take advantage of you. It's one of the worst ways to start a relationship.
right.
I was always wondering, are they going to take advantage of me? What's going on? And also too, look at your inner thoughts. We always hit on this. We didn't write that down, but that's always something that a person has to think about on if this could work, and just thinking about your own personal thoughts. Like, am I projecting this somehow? Is this actually something that happened to me in the past that I'm actually fearful of happening again? And, I'm saying that it's, maybe she's manipulating me when maybe she may not be, Again, all of that is really just going to, it's subjective. You're really going to have to take the time to listen to yourself, your inner thoughts, watch. I like that tip about watching the relationships that spouse has with other people.
Mm-hmm.
That is certainly a great way, especially if this is a new relationship. This is certainly a great way to see how this person operates within their relationships. If you see they're being manipulative or showing some signs of, taking advantage of, mother, sister, brother, cousin, whatever, then hey, chances are they ain't known you that long, so they'll probably do the same. So, just something to think about. But
Yep.
that's kind of all I got for could this work.
Mm-hmm.
The most wise, that's a different intimacy. We haven't covered intimacy in that way before.
No, not at all, but it is real. This is, like I said, this is the type of intimacy you may see even with the older guy and the younger female. So young women, you all are vulnerable to relationships and toxic men that are out there.
Yeah.
And and guys with money are vulnerable to beautiful women, who are just trying to take all their money. And and you only hope to be in a relationship with a woman who's being acting like a gold digger, bottom line. So you have to be aware
You hope to not be in a relationship.
Yeah. So no, I'm just saying, like, for those guys who have money and they want to be with these beautiful women, and that's what they value.
Oh, you're hoping that she would not be a gold digger,
right?
If she's a beautiful woman, and
right, and you just throwing all this money away, to them, and hoping that they will want to be with you. That it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Relationships don't start off that way, and they and if they do, they definitely don't last.
Yeah, and I mean, young men in particular, you have to be able to recognize that so that you can protect yourself, in the sense of, if you're going to go ahead and get married, like, that's the number one complaint guys say, like, oh, this woman's gonna take my money and leave me or whatever. Like,
right.
This is why it's important to pay attention to those red flags. So kudos to this young guy for writing in. You certainly, I don't know, if you have this guidance of being in relationships before, but you certainly seem to have some level of awareness of, hey, like, this doesn't seem to be going right. So it's just super important that everybody pays attention, like, into how it makes you feel, and if it feels genuine and real. Yeah.
And also too, don't be naive.
Yeah.
Don't be naive in your feelings, and recognize the red flags and get out of the bad situations. That's all I can say about this.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do anyone in the audience have any questions or any topics that they would like us to cover? Anything to talk about? Let's
check the chat. This was kind of our quick question because it was pretty easy. Again, we usually can go on and talk on and on about a topic, but we're not going to recommend that you stay in something like this if it's not. Right. It's only but so much we can give to something if you honestly feel like it may not be, helpful, healthy, a good relationship. You'll know, right. You should know. Like, and if you don't know, this is why, one of the reasons why we created this platform, so people can know what a healthy relationship looks like and what it doesn't, and talk about it, and not be scared to talk about it, and to put it out here so we can have these conversations, so that not only it doesn't happen to you, but so that people are learning to not do these things too, and possibly see, hey, I want a real relationship, so maybe I should stop doing this. Yeah, sometimes you don't even know. I mean, women too, sometimes you don't know that you're using sex to manipulate a guy, but you could be, especially if you're trying to get him to be in a relationship with you.
How they don't know?
I think in the sense of, women, how can I put this without like generalizing, like
a woman knows.
But at some point, I think maybe some women would just really like a guy and, like, in a way could use sex, especially if you're coming from a fatherless home. You could use sex as a way to just want love from a guy, and you're not even realizing that sex isn't love. You equate it to love, and you equate it to, oh, I'm just giving myself to this man because I love him, or whatever, or I want love. But
yeah, but that's not being manipulative,
right? That's what I'm saying. You could or you could not. Like, that's one way where you're not aware
the man is manipulating them.
But women could manipulate, in that sense too, because you're wanting a relationship and you use sex all the time. I'm just saying, like, you could go both ways. You can, if you want, as a woman, if you want to manipulate, you could. But then in one way, you could unconsciously be trying to get a relationship out of a man because you love him so much, and you
can't use sex to get a relationship.
You can't, but
I mean, that's for those people out there who think they can do that. You can't, and it's not going to last.
Because, it's not real love. Yeah,
no, not at all. But also too, every woman, everybody can have another woman can have sex with that man. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I mean, yeah, of course.
He can get it from somewhere else. No, I'm serious. I mean, don't think you're exclusive. Like, another woman has the same body parts that you do. Same thing for men. So
Yeah.
that doesn't build sex does not build relationships. It does not.
Something too that popped in my head. I did see a video not too long ago, like where the women were just like, "Oh, the guy has to have a big area down there or whatever," and like that's to me toxic too, because you're just like, "Oh, that's man's
preference.
body, but his body part has to be like a certain way." That's
I mean, if that's what
would you
she's used to,
consider that?
though, if that's what she's used to, then that's what she wants. You know, everyone has their preference. You know, so if that's what they,
interesting.
but not every woman has the same preference.
Right.
So I mean, whatever
Should
floats
you
your boat.
have that preference? Is that like, but
If that's all she wants, that's her preference. But good luck, good luck finding everything that you want, because you more than likely you don't find everything that you want in people, and you can't make these people change. You have to take the good with the bad. That's the bottom line. You average people more than likely date average, and then or lower. So that's all that they can find. If she can find a man who's willing to be with her and got everything that she wants, and he's packing, by all means, congratulations. But if that woman is not speaking from a place in which she is in a relationship, then that means she's still looking. So therefore, what? It ain't working for her right now. So good luck. It all depends on what type of game you want to play when it comes to success in relationships. If you want to get a guy with money, there's a whole nother topic. So if you want a guy with money and you're always around average people, good luck trying to find that guy with money. And then also to think, does that guy with money actually wants you? Could he do better than you? More than likely, yes. Yes, that answer is yes. So, you just have to be realistic about your expectations. How realistic is her expectations? I don't know.
So how
that's
much
not
does
an
that
average
rank?
guy.
I wonder how much should that. This is kind of off topic, but kind of still on topic of physical intimacy. I just how much should that rank though? It just makes me wonder. Like, is that on the top list of most important things?
It's preference. I mean, that's up to her. What's important to her? That realistically, a woman needs a man who's a provider and a protector. That's most important, because if that guy who's packing ain't providing or protecting, she's gonna get tired of him.
But some women leave like relationships over that, so it just makes me wonder, like, is that really,
That's their preference. Not every woman leaves relationships because
facts. Yeah, I mean, of course not. I'm wondering, like, for this dating community, I was trying to like understand, especially when you see stuff out there. You're trying to.
It's not a realistic. That's not a realistic expectation. That's all I'm saying. But a lot of some people don't have expectations when it comes to relationships. They don't even know what the hell they're looking for. So they just jump into relationships one after another.
Yeah.
Like I saw that one thing on the internet about the woman who's dating. She's dating two guys, and so she goes out on a date with the second guy who's actually giving her time and attention. Then she goes on a date with a third guy who's actually getting more attention from that guy, and then she gets tired of him, so she goes take a flight to some other place because the guy is more wealthy, and then she learns that she can not date and just sleep with guys for money, and then ultimately what that reveals is that your heart goes cold. You become somebody who's so cold, and all you're doing is just having sugar daddies. That's what you just turn into, and then your whole life goes by, and you realize that you gave up trying to find a husband because your expectations are not realistic. All you want is money, and it turned into money and sugar daddies, and then you become unhappy. So don't let that happen to you. So
yeah,
realistic expectations. We needed to do another show about that.
Yeah. Have we done one on? We've done something on realistic expectations, have we? I don't even think we've had a question on that before. Maybe you think of a topic to go around that. That would be a good one.
Yeah, we need. I don't know. We may have done one before, but I don't think that was the topic. Realistic expectations, and what it looked like when you don't have realistic expectations, and what can happen to you by trying to hold on to unrealistic expectations. I think that'll be a good show for everyone next time.
Yeah, this whole it is preference. You got me thinking like, it is preference, because I used to wonder and think like, is that kind of shallow though, like when you're just caring that much about the physical intimacy part? Because I feel like a lot of that could be learned anyway, especially when you're talking about building and growing a connection with the person, like regardless of what this person's physical body may look like. If y'all are able to connect in that way, y'all can learn to please each other, or whatever. Like, it just, so I always wondered, like, is that gonna kind of hurt you and put you at a disadvantage, like you said. So.
Right. I mean, people just, like I said, people have realistic preferences as far as who they will sleep with and who they would date. So, but I'll tell you this, the person who doesn't have a preference on skin color or body physique or skin color or body physique, they're more than likely to find somebody that they can marry, because they don't really have a preference at all, as far as what they look like and skin color and their body. But
I guess you're more open to the market,
right,
and what you can,
But with that being said, good people, thank you all for joining us tonight.
We gone off topic a bit, but y'all gotta ask some more questions. What we gonna talk about? Y'all got more things y'all want us to talk about? We're open. We're, here for. We got other questions in our email we're gonna check out too, but really want some good ones, some new ones, some stuff that's maybe hard. Stump us. I want to be stumped. Like
anybody going through anything. If you all are going through anything, we're here to help. You can also submit a question anonymously through www.wifeconomics.com/submit a question if you feel so inclined to, or you can just drop us a direct message. You can DM us, and we really appreciate the comments, the questions as well. So
everybody tuning in. Instagram is live tonight. YouTube live tonight. That's always nice. You guys on this Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. So
thank y'all.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming out, people. We appreciate you all. You all have a good night. Peace.
Peace. See. Some music now.